Hello! Here's the interview with Danny Avila and Dominus-Davis Williams in connection with Friday night's World Championship Sumo show in Westchester, New York. It was a roundtable setup, which sometimes means a whole bunch of media are involved, but in this case it was just three of us, Shady Bashai from MMA Dungeon, Leo Dickinson, and your boy Spiff. Things to know. 1. The questions I asked were spun pretty much directly off the topic suggested by Ciaran Leonard, Hobgoblin Bob, and Reclined Physicist, so I appreciate y'all chipping in those ideas. 2. I was still figuring out sound levels early in the call, so it starts immediately with the first question, but this is the entire interview. 3. Apparently, if you record a Zoom call in OBS, it makes you sound like you clipped your own voice in later. I promise I was asking those questions in real time. And 4. I reference interviews I saw with Danny and Dom, good interviews which woefully few people have seen. They're linked in the description so you can check them out after this one. Okay, enjoy.
All right, Dan, do you go by Dan or Daniel?
Daniel's good, man. Daniel.
All right,
Danny.
pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you. Shady Bashai for MMA Dungeon. Well, I looked into you a little bit, and not only are you a fighter in the world of sumo, but you're also a cancer survivor who came out victorious after 2.5 years of a battle with leukemia. You've shared the value of this second chance at life and what it means to you, but talk to us a little bit about how it's impacted your life, both as a competitor and training and a sumo practitioner overall.
So back when I got diagnosed in 2019, I was probably one of the top 3 heavyweights in the U.S. I hadn't competed at Worlds yet, but I was pretty on track to be one of the better wrestlers in the country. Sidelined me for the 2.5 years that I was competing. I went from like a body weight of 330 to 198 in a matter of a couple months just because of the chemo and radiation and all that kind of stuff. So when I started to make my entry back into sumo, I did that as a light heavyweight. And so I started competing again in 2021 at a body weight of like 240. And I've just been kind of like bulking back up ever since. My body's naturally a bigger frame, so having to learn how to wrestle like a smaller guy again was kind of tough. It's definitely changed the way I view matches and matchups against bigger guys. And coming back into the heavyweight division, a lot of that's muscle memory. I still fight very much like a heavyweight, but having to carry that over into a lighter division where the guys are a little more agile, a little quicker. It was definitely a change, but it's been a good one.
Very nice. It's been an inspiration to read up about your battle and your journey, and I'm very excited to see you
Thank you,
compete.
man. I appreciate it.
I have some more, but if somebody else got some, we can go round robin.
Actually, I was wondering if I could ask a question coming off of that, because I had something very related to the leukemia thing. What I was curious about, because I watched your interview with Grand Sumo Breakdown where you talked about that, and you said you dropped from 337 to 199 in 2 months. Mm-hmm. I was curious if you could describe what that journey was like coming back up to a fighting weight, how your relationship with your body maybe has changed, and what your idea of an ideal fighting weight is now, if it's changed at all.
Good questions. It was definitely it was tough. After I got my stem cell transplant in 2020, I was on dialysis for 8 months. And so when you're on dialysis, because of kidney function and that kind of stuff, your weight is very important. And so for a long time, my weight was kind of dictated on how I was doing with my treatments and that kind of stuff. And so any weight gain at the time was either me getting healthier naturally, gaining weight, or it was a bad sign that my kidneys weren't functioning the way they were supposed to. And so for about 6 months, it was kind of a struggle between, should I gain weight because I'm getting healthier, or should I stay at a lighter weight and diet because it's better for my kidneys? As soon as my lab work started trending in the positive direction, I felt that the weight gain was because I was getting healthier and I was beating my condition. That changed into, okay, well, now I can kind of let my body do its thing. I can kind of wean off of the super specific medical diet that I was on. Now, I'm on a journey into becoming a firefighter in the city of Los Angeles. So I'm starting a wildland fire academy in about a month here. I just got my EMT. And so for me, staying at a kind of healthier big boy weight is a little more conducive to the work I'm trying to do. Fighting weight, I feel a lot more comfortable at 265 in the light heavyweight division for amateur sumo. I feel like that still gives me the mass relevant to compete against the heavyweight guys in the open weight divisions, like those 300, 400, 500 pound guys that I'm gonna see, this weekend. But it also gives me the speed and agility to compete with the smaller guys. And so a natural, 250, 260 is kind of where I see myself cutting down to once, life and stuff kind of stabilizes.
Cool. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the question.
If they also, by the way, feel free to record on your end, guys. I'm recording on my end, but you can record this in edits for your outlet, however you like to. Leo, I'd like to go to you. If you have any questions for Danny.
Yeah, sure. I kind of wanted to follow up because you mentioned getting into the fire academy and becoming a firefighter. I have a friend who's a firefighter that tells me like one of the things they do is carry a big 50-pound weight over their shoulders going up and down stairs. Are there any other things you do in your like workout regime that you think is unique to your stage in life, being in between sumo, former football player I see in the Reddit AMA, and being a firefighter? Is there anything special you do in your workout? Or
I've definitely switched over from the barbell, like a lot of my heavy lifting days, playing college football and being a thrower in track and field. A lot of barbell, a lot of Olympic lifts. I'm super comfortable with it. That's what I train my boys with. I coach high school football and track, and so that's what I have the boys doing because I think it's important for young athletes. But now as I call it, third stage of life athlete, where you're not you're not in like a university, you're not a professional, but you are competing competitively. I'm a big sandbag guy. I love like those rogue sandbags or like the Shogun sandbags, like that strongmen use, calisthenics, running, rucking, kind of like odd strongman style lifts. But I think those are a little more relevant to life and sumo since we're lifting bodies by belts and grips and stuff. And then Big Dom just got back too.
Oh, hi.
So he's here with us.
Oh, great. So, Shady, I guess if you got questions for Dom now, you could ask him since he's back.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Dom, Shady Boucher from MMA Dungeon. Nice to meet you, sir.
Hello, nice to meet you.
I took a look at your socials as I always do when I'm meeting with any sort of athlete. And a few months ago, you shared a post that talked about how surreal it's been to compete all over the world in just your first year of amateur sumo. In a very short period of time since then, it seems like you've only continued to rise in success. What does this upcoming tournament that you're going to compete in mean to you, and what kind of milestone is this for you?
It means a lot, actually. This is the first time I've been asked to be in a tournament. Usually, I just go if it's near or anywhere, or I won something to be able to go to the next thing. But I think a lot of faith has been put in me to go higher than I already have, and it's a weight I'm willing to shoulder because I like the sport. This tournament is the next stage of that, and I hope to bring the expectations that have been placed on me.
Very nice. I look forward to seeing you compete.
Hey,
Leo or Spiffy, whoever wants to go next.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Going off of the idea of you being relatively new to the sport. In your interview with Maximum Efforts, that was before you went to Thailand, and JJ asked you what you expected to do there, and you said something along the lines of, once you got rolling, you thought you wouldn't be beaten, and you ended up finishing third. And as far as I could tell, you're only the third American in the history of sumo, like amateur worlds, to medal, which is amazing. Did that live up to your expectations going in?
honestly,
Or did you want even more, and were you even like a little disappointed by third place?
I want to say when I did the interview, I was just tooting my own horn, but there was truth to it. I did believe if I got smacked down the first round or something like that, it takes me because how do I say, I have to experience it to get a hang of it. So Worlds was such a massive thing that I had never experienced before. Once I got laid out, I think that's when everything started to click more. Even with the ankle injury afterwards, where I started stumbling after every win, I think it was it was way more than I expected. And then it started to feed into my aspirations of possibly getting a gold next time I enter in the worlds.
All right, cool. Good job.
Leo?
To kind of follow up on that international experience, I'm reading in the Reddit AMA that some of your toughest opponents were two wrestlers from Georgia. Are there any other tough opponents that you're looking forward to fighting at this upcoming tournament?
Uh, Danny.
It's
Danny.
terrible. We've actually never fought. I've seen him destroy people. So as excited as I am to experience it, I'm not looking forward to it.
It's because he's such a nice person. I want to know how he fights now, like how it feels to fight him. That's the next stage of the relationship for a sumo wrestler. You meet them outside and you meet them in. And
That's the bad part about making friends in the amateur sumo space is that people are like, wow, you're so nice. I can't wait to beat the crap out of you.
yeah. I didn't used to think that way, but recently all my friends are people that I have to get beat up by or beat them up. So I was starting to embrace that fact. Another one would be this one wrestler who I also interacted with a lot today, Kofi. Uh, he's a he's a fun guy to hang around with, and we've been talking a lot of smack recently, and fun and jokes. But he's my first round match, so I can't wait to fight him too. Uh, oh, just to say about the toughest people I fought, in the worlds when I fought the first Japanese wrestler, I don't remember his name, but he was a wall to hit. It felt like I was hitting a wall that moved, and it was the first time I was like, "Wow, this is why the Japanese are how they are. They are always low and always like." When I hit his chest, I didn't feel a thing. It was like solid rock. It's crazy, but that's all of it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to you, Shady. Having more questions for the gentleman?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Dom, now that we have you here, quick
yeah.
one for you. You are a scientist, a magician, a chef, a writer, a pro wrestler,
Is that
rock,
what you put
paper,
in?
scissors champion, and now a rising decorated sumo wrestler. How have any of these past endeavors prepared you, either physically or mentally, for the challenges that you now have on the horizon in the world of sumo?
Well, in all those endeavors, which are really things that I've done throughout my life that I keep close to my heart and experiences. And every single thing I've done, though, I've lost. Like in some way, shape, or form, I've lost in some way. And that would include sumo now. So it's prepared me for the pains and tribulations that come with putting your interest into something that involves using your body. Uh, I think with that comes a sense of preparedness to face anything that might come my way. I think that's what death brought me.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, if I can keep the floor for just a second, similar question for Danny. I read up on you a lot, read the piece that was written when you received the award we spoke about earlier. You're also a multi-talented athlete. You have a background in other sports, football, track, and field. How much of a translation is there between being on the O-line or track and field and sumo, if at all?
Um, Physically, I think becoming a sumo wrestler made me excel in those other sports a little more than the other sports carried over into sumo, as far as the technique and the strength and that kind of stuff. Something I was fortunate to carry into sumo. I think that you can only really get from a team sport like football is like the grit, the will to keep pushing yourself even when your body might be failing or that kind of stuff. And so carrying that grit into my approach to becoming as good a wrestler as I know I can be has been a journey. I think that same grit got me through my cancer diagnosis. I think that same grit gets me through life, every new challenge I get. And so the grit carry over into sumo and the athletic carry over from sumo into other sports.
Very nice. Thank you both.
Mm.
If I can ask
Dom, do you want to
about
say
your
something?
training, so when I met Jake from Grand Sumo Breakdown, he said that they train maybe every week, every couple of weeks, which I imagine is probably not that unusual in some gyms across the country. But you guys being higher level, yeah, I figure you probably train more, but maybe not. So I was wondering, one, how often do you train? Two, if you could train more, if you could get your training partners around more, would you? And if you could devote more time directly to sumo training, is there anything in particular you would work on that you feel isn't getting enough attention right now in your game?
Oh, me? Gosh, no, you go first. I still need to think about my question.
Yeah, I think the once a week, twice a week is super common in amateur sumo. At least in the U.S. space, I can't speak for other countries, but as far as we're concerned, a lot of us are weekenders where we get a Saturday or a Sunday for an hour to an hour and a half to train. Because we only get the hour and a half to train for sumo specifically, a lot of that is kind of geared towards sparring and matches to get the fight time and the war experience. A lot of us supplement that with lifting. I know Dom lifts 2 to 3 times a week, and his club actually practices a little more often. I think they train three times a week.
No,
No,
it's
But,
Tuesday.
there you go. So look, once a week. But a lot of us is once a week. We supplement that with lifting and other sports and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think we're just maximizing that time in the ring and with your training partners is how you get better.
To add on, I had to go find because my club, I think every club goes through this. It's just because this is amateur and there's not a lot of resources going into it. I think the 1 week thing is just like that's the saving grace. Like if we could do it more, we would do it more. Stuff just gets in the way. So I definitely think if we could find a schedule that helps our outside life and a sumo thing as well, we would be doing like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, hell weekends sometimes. Sorry for cursing. Um, I had to, in preparation for this tournament, I had to go to other clubs, and I don't even have a car. I had to ask someone to drive me to those clubs to practice, and it's way better to get 3 days of training rather than one. It's a totally different experience. You're way more alert. You feel like you can do sumo right then, right now. So I definitely think if we could get more days in the week, that would be great.
Yeah, I can build on that too. I share that same sentiment with Dom because even if you can train multiple times a week by hitting the adjacent clubs and stuff, you're also kind of limited on personnel. As good as my club has been for my development and that kind of stuff, I'm limited on my opponents. I train with a 3-time lightweight national champion in Joe Ponsetto. I train with a number 2 silver medalist at the world level, Kellyanne Ball, and then that's our like core group of people. Is I have a um, excellent female heavyweight and a superior male lightweight. But as someone who's trying to get better in the light heavy or the heavyweight space, I'm limited on, what we can do at practice and that kind of stuff. And so that plays a big factor too. And so, like Dom said, when you get the opportunity to train and do maybe like a day gecko with another club and
Yeah.
compete with other guys and get to pick their brains on their training techniques, I think is a good thing too.
Leo, any questions you'd like to ask?
To kind of follow up on your training partners being in different leagues than you, when going into a tournament, do you prefer to be in that open weight division where you have a lot of practice against the smaller guys, so you kind of know how to deal with them better, or do you prefer being in your own weight class where you know how you move, so you kind of know how your opponents might move in that case?
For me, something our coaches always said is try to impose your sumo on your opponent. If you have a style, perfect it. If you believe in it, you train it, it'll work. Whoever, no matter what the opponent is, you'll adapt as the match goes on. I think that being said, getting to experience what a world level lightweight competitor feels like definitely adds a little bit of flair. That way, I'm a little more comfortable when I see an aggressive middleweight or a lightweight, across from me. Coming from a light heavyweight background, I'm super comfortable in that space. But I think it definitely aids in the open weight. But open weight is definitely a little more of a scare since we train so often to be good in our own divisions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree totally to that. But not to be joking, but I am joking, but I'm also serious. I would prefer to fight people lighter than me because as I said in previous AMA, I've been hurt a bit, but I think because I fight so many big people in my practices, uh, I'm so used to bigger guys that when a small person comes up, the only reason I get nervous is that I might not be able to see them when they turn on me. I got so much size to turn around. By the time I'm done, they're like, "Oh, got your belt." But I think that's what I've been practicing a lot. Smaller guys are faster, and we happen to have a few smaller people now. I can head on headbutt smack a big guy, but when it comes to maybe a bigger guy who's a lot faster, like a lightweight, I'm more attuned to how they would move, like a Lasha who's a lot more craftier. You have to track him because he won't just hit you head up if he knows he's the smaller guy in that situation. So I think I've learned to think like a lightweight to be a lightweight in the sense.
Mhm.
Shady, I'll throw it to you next.
Yeah, sure. I just had some final one for the both of you. So with a niche sport, or I guess where we are here in the States, a more niche sport like sumo wrestling, I'm always curious what people's kind of gateway was into it. Like for myself, I'm obviously from the world of MMA boxing, but there's a sumo practitioner named came up on my TikTok at some point. I think he's one of the more notable sumos from Egypt, and so I went down the rabbit hole of kind of seeing his competition, and then that got me into the world of sumo in general. So I'm curious for the two of you, how do you go from here, living here in the States where sumo is maybe not the most popular combat sport to, competing and being as successful as the two of you guys are? What was your kind of entry?
You first, yeah, Mr. 90s.
Sure. So yeah, I started sumo 9 years ago in 2016, kind of just laying in bed, watching sumo matches on YouTube, and I Googled it. USA Sumo was having practices close to my home at the time, and I kind of got involved with it, fell in love with it, started doing sumo that way. Back when I started sumo 9 years ago, geographically in the US, if you didn't live in California, Texas, or Florida, kind of hard to get started. Now, if you go to ussumofederation.org, you can find our club map and you can see what clubs in the area are involved. You can get contact info. You can get started in sumo that way. Internationally, most of those national federations have their own Instagrams and Facebook pages, so you can reach out to those federations. And sumo's a small world, man. If you hit up somebody, you're no more than 2 or 3 contacts away from finding what you want to get. Um, a lot of the MMA, judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, wrestling guys that try sumo, in my experience, always take something back to their practice that they feel is valuable. There's a base in sumo, there's a balance, there's a fighting spirit in sumo that I don't think you can get in any other sport. I think the carryover from sumo to other sports, since a lot of those other sports originated from sumo, is a big carryover. And so I encourage all those people to try sumo, take that back to your clubs. Um, and yeah, man, just tune into the stream tonight, see how we do. Everybody comes from a different background. Uh, Friday for World Championship Sumo. So yeah, it's a good little way to get involved and kind of explore the rabbit hole of amateur sumo.
Very nice. I mean, I want to hear from Dom as well, but quick question for Danny. Sorry, Dom. Are you
No.
familiar at all with Ramiel Gazar?
Yeah, I've trained with Rami in LA for a number of years. He's
Very nice.
I wouldn't call him like a super close friend, but when I competed in the World Combat Games in Riyadh, he was our kind of liaison to the, you know, Middle East and that kind of stuff. He took care of us. He's a tough as hell training partner. I lost a bronze medal to him in my first ever tournament. And so, yeah, fierce competitor, very nice man, a father. Um, yeah, he's a good guy.
Very nice. Very nice. Good to
I
hear.
would love to see him at World Championship Sumo someday. We got to make that
That's
happen.
right. That's right.
You said how did you get in? Uh, Serious answer, Ben 10. If you had nostalgia for Ben 10, I remember when he played Sumo Smashers or something like that. And I was like, is that a real thing? I looked up Sumo. Then I saw Sumo Knockouts. Then I saw Sumo was in America. And this was like 2018. And actually, I think it was a match in California. It was this big white dude who, like, I think it was it was Olympia because it was a big white dude. He was like he went slamming down. It was this guy who passed
Kelly Knighting and Biamba.
yeah, Biamba. That's who it was. And then that got me thinking, oh, there's someone in America, but I thought I probably can't do it. Then I went to watch YouTube sumo, Japan sumo on YouTube. Then I watched Sanctuary. Then the demo at the mall. then I'm here. So what in the grand scheme of things, the internet is kind of a godsend because you would not be able to see any of this if the internet did not exist. I am glad that Pia Sumo is big as it is and that amateur professional are reaching out by putting sumo media in that space because you could randomly find it like you said someone said they found it on TikTok or you could just find it in a YouTube short or something like that. That's how I found it.
Very nice. Well, that's everything I had, but it's been a pleasure hearing from you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys compete.
No, thanks. Appreciate you guys.
Tiffy, anything, any
Yeah.
last questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so in previous interviews, you were both asked in the interviews I saw how you would suggest growing the sport, growing interest in the sport, participation as well, in a general sense. What I want to know is, and maybe this is more for Danny because you've been in the sport a lot longer, but Dom, I welcome your thoughts as well. Do you have any suggestions for sumo gyms to specifically not just try to get people thinking the sport is cool, but to say, hey, the sport is cool and you should come here and practice it with us? Like ways to not just recruit to the sport, but actively get people in their training space.
Sure. Something that a lot of clubs, the New York club specifically, is doing very well. Something we do in California with the Honu Sumo Club is we put on demos. We put on demos where I'll say, preach the gospel of sumo. We show a little bit of history. We show a little bit of technique. We give a little insight into how our practice plans are and kind of the technique and training that goes into sumo. Something we do is invite members of the audience into the ring and have matches with us. They're a little reserved because we got to keep us safe and keep them safe. But something that a lot of clubs do regularly is they get involved with the local Japanese associations in their area and they put on demos. They invite those people. They hand out flyers. A lot of us have the social media. And that's a good way to just get eyes on. I mean, like Dom said, he ran into sumo at a mall at a demo, and we have one of the best wrestlers in the country off of a demo. And so
Thank you.
And so, demos play a big role in getting eyes on. I think a lot of clubs are live streaming practices, so they have people. A lot of clubs are having practices in MMA gyms and that kind of stuff to just spread and kind of get in the combat sports communities. Organizations like World Championship Sumo are doing a fantastic job getting eyes on a larger platform with the Avila relationship that we're building with streaming to Japan and a lot of these other countries like the US and Hong Kong and Thailand and all this stuff, we're spreading, just getting sumo on the radar. And so when World Championship Sumo comes around and gets us in people's faces, we get guys like me, like Dom, like a lot of the other guys we're going to compete against, where our sumo journey started with a Google search. It started with us seeing it somewhere and having the idea put in the back of our heads that this could be something I could either watch or do. And so, yeah, man, in the 9 years that I've doing it, sumo's grown so much. And the stories that I hear from older guys and that kind of stuff is there's been a long history of sumo in the amateur space. And so to be a part of that, as an older guy, I'll call myself, but even as a young guy like Dom, who's taking the world by storm, the growth is amazing. And I think it's only going up.
All right. Thank you.
I don't think I'm that big.
Dom's so humble, but as a guy who's seen, I've come from an era where like Manny Yarbrough, God rest his soul, was the last American gold medalist that we've had. I've seen Trent Sable. I've competed with Trent Sable. He's an American silver medalist in the lightweight division. Roy Sims was a bronze medalist in Worlds in 2015. That was the last medal I'd heard of since I started sumo. And then since then, I mean, the U.S. has been on the podium. We've got 2 silver medals in the women's team division. Kellyanne Ball was number 2 in the world. Dom's a bronze weight men's medalist. We have Gabe Tolentino in Tennessee. He's been a bronze medalist in the youth. So like in the 9 years I've done sumo, the U.S. has been on the podium more times than we have in the past 50 years. And so that's incredible.
Just to point out his thing about if sumo is more accessible or to get people to practice it, I would love there was It is. I'm a meathead. I would love if there was like a sumo gym, like it's LA Fitness or like Planet Fitness, that where you could just go in and you see a bunch of people in different corners, like doing Shiko or Suriwashi, or having one little mat in the center. Like this is where you spar. That would be perfect. I know a lot of clubs, especially in Texas, like my club, we don't own our dojo. We rent it out. We rent it. So that's for a lot of people. So I think if financially a lot of people could get there, we could build up more sumo gyms or dojos, and that could actually become a reality. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's kind of an unspoken thing in the American sumo space, but we always joke around that if somebody won the lottery, we're buying plots of land, we're putting stables on them so that clubs can have that space to have clay dojos and have gyms and showers, and they can rent the space for a weekend or whatever it is, so that they can have actual training camps around the country. Homemade clay dojos are popping up around the U.S. and so yeah, it's kind of a running joke that we would build those gyms around the country.
If I won the lottery, I'll do it.
Yep.
We're a bit short on time, but Leo, I do want, if you have like a short question, I'm happy to give you the final word.
All right. I just want to mention all of the educational sumo stuff that is coming out, the shows that you guys put on, because I participated in one of them at one of the local San Antonio malls, and my audience made fun of me for that.
Nice.
And then of course the Grand Sumo tournament putting on international shows in London and Paris. Where do you guys hope the next international sumo tournament will be?
Texas, so I don't have to pay to go.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you were in a San Antonio show? Which one was it?
It was a couple months ago, but I fought against Jay and he killed me twice, so
Damn, I think I remember. Was it Rolling Oaks?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah. That was funny. But yeah, Texas or like Mississippi or something. Actually, there's a sumo club in New Orleans. If that would happen, that'd be great too. Anywhere close nearby, but I'd say once I get a car, I'll just go anywhere.
So selfishly, I want Grand Sumo to come to America, but I can see it going. No, come to America. We want you guys here. You'll be loved here. We'll take care of you. We'll drive you around. We'll do whatever has to get done to make that happen. But
I'll give you massages. I'm good at massages. I got hands for it, like for sumo and for massages. Sumo massages. Yeah.
Hey, this has been great. Thanks for including me, guys.
we get
Oh,
people
we
in the
appreciate
DMs
everybody.
that request that kind of stuff too.
I have not gotten any offers.
There's a dark side to being a really good amateur
Can
sumo.
you show me if there's money?
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this roundtable. Everybody, Spiffy, Shady, Leo, I appreciate your time and responding to my emails and all that. And yes, I'll send a follow-up email with you guys. And yeah, Dom and Danny, you guys are free now to go.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Matt. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to
Appreciate
meet
it.
y'all.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Yeah,
See you,
likewise.
everybody. Thank
Thanks for
you.
having
Sumo
us.
Friday at 8.
Have a good night.
Sumo.
All right, thank you very much, you guys, for
Thank you so much
joining
again,
us
guys.
tonight.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. That
Thank
was
you for
super
having
cool.
us.
I'll see you there Friday, Shady.
That's right. See ya.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Okay, have a
Yep,
good night,
have
everybody.
fun.
Stay warm wherever
Yeah.
if you're
Good night, everyone.
have snow.
And I hear my baby crying for